The SSL Oracle, an honest audio gear review. Now, I've had this console probably about 3 weeks now. And I don't usually do these kind of honest audio gear reviews straight away. But I've had lots of people ask me to do one on the Oracle console. And look, I am still in that honeymoon period. And that's the reason I don't do these sorts of reviews straight away. I usually leave it about 6 months. But this one, there's a lot of requests for it. So whilst it is very honest, right, it's very positive because I'm still in that honeymoon period with this console. And I honestly don't think my opinion is going to change. In 6 months' time, I think I'm still going to be in love with this console because it is that good. And look, there's going to be people online who are going to say, it's too expensive, it's this, that, and the other, and it doesn't come with dynamics. Look, yeah, dynamics would have been good, but it would have put 40 grand on top of the console. I mean, this is a 105 grand console. It's very expensive. And I said in a previous video after a demo that I had on this console, that I genuinely think it's underpriced because it rivals the AWS, it rivals Duality. The only thing Duality has the dynamics, which, if this had dynamics, it would kill Duality. Now, me personally, on this console, I've got 48 channels. So I've got 48 channels of EQ. I've got 48 channels of compression. I'll quickly just go over that because I've got 24 channels of SSL EQ in the console. I've got 24 channels of Wes Audio EQ, and I've got 48 channels of Wes Audio compression. So 48 channels of EQ and compression that's all digitally recallable. Talking of digital recall, I didn't think I was going to enjoy the Snapshot way of digitally recalling things. Now, the reason for that is all my other gear. Is every piece of gear in here, bar the Michelangelo and the Lowell, are digitally recallable. And when I open a session, everything recalls. That's not how the console works. The console works, you open the session, you open the Pro Tools session, load it up, and then you load a snapshot that you save from the console. And that's loaded from your computer. So you just load it loads in the software, the console recalls. I didn't think I'd like that, but I actually do. And the reason I like that is because it's flawless. You literally hit a button, you load the mix, and every setting just done. It's perfect. And every time it's been perfect. Which 99.999% of the time with Wes Audio. Wes Audio's flawless pretty much. Tegla sometimes is a bit hit and miss. But majority of stuff, it literally it'll recall perfectly exactly as it was. There's a few units that you have to just kind of double check. They're like on the Tegla Reverb, just have to make sure that the bypass state recalls, and that's more of a software thing. But the snapshot thing, it does load really quickly, really easily, and just bang. So that I'm really impressed with. Now, when it comes to the console, I had a conversation with Mike at SSL, and he said to me, like, oh, come down to SSL and hear how the console sounds and before you make any sorts of decisions. And I said to him, look, I'll be honest, I don't care how the console sounds. And he was like, what? Why don't you care how the console sounds? It's like, it's SSL. It's going to sound great. You're not going to build a console and it sound rubbish. It just doesn't make sense. So the console's going to sound great. I don't care how the console sounds. What I care about is how it functions, how it will benefit my workflow. That's the key things for me. It's not so much about how it sounds, because I know it's going to sound great. And it does sound great. The EQ on it, brilliant. You've got the E and G series EQ, so you can switch between those, and they are so different. And you can switch between them. They're perfect. They're SSL EQs, and they sound great. They're just like any other console, any other SSL console EQs. They're perfect. Auxiliary sends on it, brilliant. You've got 10 aux sends, which I use. What have I got them sending to? I've got to send to the reverb. I've got to send into a mic pre. That's a really good way of using it. I've got to send into compression for parallel comp. So that's really good. Now, the one thing this console does for me, and this is why it's such a massive thing for me, and it's I said this the other day, that this console is the best purchase I have ever made in studio terms. It's probably the most expensive purchase, apart from a full room and system install before. But in terms of a purchase that's like, this is one singular thing, this is a big purchase, this has probably been the biggest thing that I've bought, and it is the best thing I've bought. And the reason for that is before, the way I felt about my system before was, you had analog and you had digital, and the two kind of, it's tricky, because you always felt like you were still in the digital realm, because I was using the Avid control surface, and then I was using it to insert. I also had the Rupert Neve summing on there. It really felt like, before my system, before putting the console in, it felt a little bit disjointed. It felt like I was too still in the box, and I was just injecting channel strips where I needed them. It didn't really feel like you were working with digital and then coming out the box to a whole kind of analog system. It never really felt like that. Although there was like 190 channels of analog processing. So it should feel like that. However, working on this console, it now feels like you've got your digital processing, you've got your in the box processing, and then you're coming out, and that's when you're doing all your analog processes. So the two are very much different, in the sense of that the way I'm working this is, I'm doing all my in the box processing, anything that I want to do in the box, then I come out the box and I'm into the analog domain. Now I'm mixing on the board. So, and that for me, a workflow thing is huge. It really is. I tell you what, I was going to say, I'm finding mixing being faster. I'm not. That would be a lie, because I'm not actually, I don't think I'm mixing faster. I'm enjoying the mix more, so I'm spending a lot more time over mixing, and also I'm far more detailed. There's far more to do. You know, there's a lot to do on the console that you can really get creative with. So there's a lot that you're doing. Now, one thing that's amazing with the console is you've got a lot of routing options in terms of workflow options. You can have, so you've got two fader banks. You've got bay 1, bay 2, let's say, and then you've got your basically your stereo buses here. These two banks, now you've got small fader and big fader, large fader. So you've got small fader, large fader, for instance. I can have 1 to 16 large fader on here, and then 1 to 16 small fader on here. So I've never got a small fader. It's all large fader, if that makes sense. You're always working on faders. You're not up on the aux sends or the little, the little pots at the top like on regular consoles. The other thing that's incredible on this is stereo linking these channels. So you can have 16 mono channels, or 24, let's say 24 mono channels across the console, bang. Whereas what I like to do is, where I'm working with stems the majority of the time, I like to link those. So you can link those into stereo. So you've then got 12 channels of stereo channels across that mixer, on 12 different faders. And that's perfect for me, because then I'm not, You know, or every channel is one EQ is controlling that stereo, rather than two independent EQs. So the stereo link is perfect on this. The bus comp on it is brilliant. I wasn't. The thing with the bus comp is I liked the bus comp, the 19-inch bus comp. I liked it. I found it a bit too fiddly, and that's why I didn't buy one. I found it just a bit too fiddly, non-digitally recallable, because it's a pain to recall. So I actually went with the Wes Audio NG bus comp because that had recall with it. And I didn't go with the SSL Bus Plus. And I didn't not like the Bus Plus. I didn't mind it. I found it a bit fiddly. So I never really got one. And I never really took too much interest in it because of that reason. Whereas now, after getting one, I really, really like it as a bus comp. It's very good. And I really love the dynamic EQ, high and low shelf dynamic EQ. And what you can actually do, because here's the thing, where it's digitally recallable, you can do so much with it because you've never got to think about, oh, I've got to try and recall this and remember all these settings or take a picture. And there's a fair bit of kind of banking with the Bus Plus. So yeah, I'm really liking the Bus Plus. The panning on it is brilliant on each of the channels, because you have this kind of, when you put it into stereo, you can pan left to right, but what it's also doing is it's changing the width as well. So you've got this kind of panning width thing, really good, and it's really nice. And one thing I am finding is the panning, when I was working on the Avid S4, panning, I'd do a lot of panning, but I'd not enjoy the panning, and I'd purposely not pan as much as I maybe should have, because it wasn't enjoyable to do. Whereas on the SSL Oracle, it's a real joy. It's so simple. You can find that sweet spot. It's so simple to just sweep between where you want to be. So that's really good with it. In terms of build quality is incredible. The one thing I was slightly disappointed with when I opened up the Oracle was it comes with a cover. I think they missed a trick here because it was just a black cover, and I was like, oh, it comes with a cover, and I kind of expected to kind of lift the plastic off this cover and kind of go, oh wow, it's got an SSL logo on it, brilliant, I'll definitely use this cover. But instead it kind of just it wasn't really anything. But that actually gives me a good idea, because if it hasn't got anything on and it's a good cover, I could just embroider audio animals on the front. I could get I could just get that embroidered on the front. That's what I'm actually going to do. That's actually, oh, I scratched that. It's actually a really good idea. Thank you, SSL, for not putting your logo on it, because now I'm going to put mine on the logo on this cover. So yeah, that's actually quite a good idea. So yeah, I do think though that they missed a trick there, because they could have had this really lovely SSL logo just printed on there, embroidered on there, or even just a print onto it. And that really looks smart. I mean, the thing with it is the way I look at that is, like, if you're spending £105,000 on a console, you know, have a nice little cover with it. What's a cover cost? £100-200 maximum. So, you know, that's just my opinion on that. In terms of sound, right? Sound-wise, this console actually sounds amazing. It really does sound good. Summing sounds amazing. The Bus Plus sounds amazing. The EQ sounds amazing. The mic pre's, I haven't recorded with the mic pre's yet, because I'm still building my booth. But in terms of driving the mic pre's, you can drive the mic pre's whilst mixing, get a bit of saturation out of them. That sounds great. Yeah, I mean, I really can't fault I really can't fault it too much. And this is the thing, this is the one thing to bear in mind, is with a console like this is probably, I don't know, I speculate of course, but you're probably at about, let's say 50% of what it's going to be 5 years time, kind of thing. There's a lot more that can be done with it, and they'll be able to implement new things. continuously, like because it has this kind of digital element as well, although it's 100% analog console, because it has this connection, what you're able to do is then continuously update it. And you can update it via a download, update it via the software, and update the console. You can do a lot with it. Even things like I don't know, obviously speculating here, there could be, I don't really know what there could be. I wouldn't really. There could be all sorts. Look, you could put. There's every potential that you could put like I don't know, control your fusion off of it maybe, or something. If a digitally recallable version, a fusion came out, for instance, let's say for argument's sake, you could probably control it off of the control surface. I don't know. Maybe. Look, all these different things. So there'll be little things where I'll give feedback to SSL, and SSL will go, oh yeah, that's actually, that's a good idea. We should do that. Like one of the pieces of feedback I've already given them is that, it'd be nice if there was a plugin loaded in the DAW that saved the snapshot. When you closed the session, it saved, and then when you opened it, the snapshot just loaded it. Things like that. That would actually be really nice. Although I'm liking the snapshot aspect of things, that would be a nice option to have. So that's something that maybe in the future could be something. But this is the thing: is it continuously will grow. And I was having a conversation with Mike Banks the other day. He was here, and I kind of said, this will be my console for the next 20 years. And he was like, yeah, there's no reason that it won't be your console for the next 20 years because, this is their kind of flagship console now. And it's so expandable. And this is the great thing about it as a console, is because it's so expandable in the sense of that you've got these modules that are out of shot here, but you've got like this rack that's your channel strips. And like, if I want to buy another 24 channel strips or put another 48 channel strips in, I just buy another one, and they're about 35 grand. And I just put another one in. I've purposely left a space in that rack over there so I can just literally put another one in if I want to go up to 96 channel summing and 96 channels of EQ and compression, which to be honest, I do think it's a little bit overkill at the moment. I was working on a film earlier today, and I did find when working on this film that I felt like I wanted to go a little bit more with the channel count, but I had dialogue on one, Foley on another set of Foley on another, and there was all sorts of different kind of buses going on. But I did find that I could have gone up to 96 channels, but 48 was more than adequate. It would just be nice. But on the majority of songs that you're mixing, you're probably 48 channel is plenty when it comes to EQ and compression over. And then you've got 16 buses as well, 8 stereo buses, which I've got mine set up as my drum bus, bass bus, vocal bus. And then I've got five other instrument buses, and they've all got EQ and compression on. Look, here's the thing with this console in particular, it's unbelievable. It's incredible. It's the best console I've ever used because it's so flexible. And that's, look, this is my honest opinion of it. And this is my opinion that most probably I can't see this changing. I'll have this opinion probably for the next 20 years easy, because I can't see this opinion changing, because it's such a great console that can evolve over a period of time as well. So that's my honest gear review. And like I said at the start, look, I'm still in that honeymoon phase. I've got this kind of, I'm very much loving this console at the moment, so I'm speaking very highly about it. But like I say, I don't think that opinion will change anytime soon. SSL Oracle, incredible. Look, if I had to give it a 10 out of 10, I would give it a 10 out of 10. If I had to give it a mark, I'd give it a 10 out of 10. Actually, no, I wouldn't. I'd give it a 9 out of 10 because there is always room. There is room for improvement. It isn't perfect, but it can be perfect. And this is the great thing, because it has the ability to be updated, the ability to be worked on. It can become a 10 out of 10 over time.